Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ultimate session at the Impact Funding Summit. We've had this over the last 3 days. We've had some brilliant speakers and some fabulous inspirational talks. We learned a lot, we felt a lot, we experienced a lot. And it's hard to say it's coming to an end, but what better way than to have with us this last guest at our event. And before I introduce her, I'm going to read out something, and I think that will set the agenda of this guest because it speaks volumes about who she is, where she comes from, and what she dreams to do. So if you'll give me a moment, what I want to share is, my wings made me fly over mountains and seas without the need to cross borders and obtain visas. I am flying everywhere to whomever is in need. The courage I have is to make a change, to be the heal from wounds. Yes, I am going against the norm that others are doing. They have no courage to do anything. I believe that I am courageous enough to accomplish a lot before reaching 50. Let me introduce to you Dr. Nisreen bin Prince Al Sharif Muhammad bin Kempeza bin Sharif Hussein Al Hashemite. That's a whole lot of name, but believe me, she stands for every single name in that name. She combines history, religion, politics, and education, and is from the Hashemite family, the holiest family amongst the Arab world, and a direct descendant of the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. In her own words, I always wanted to establish my own legacy, a legacy that is a bit far from my title, my family history, and politics, a legacy that is based on my achievements and serving humanity. Princess Nisreen is the granddaughter of King Faisal bin Al Sharif Hussein, the first king of Iraq and founder of the modern state of Iraq, where the Iraqi nation, with all of its diversified ethnic origins and religions for the first time in its history, became united under the king's leadership. I want to be a doctor so I will be able to draw a smile on people's faces, she said, following the steps of her ancestors and vowing to preserve the traditions of her family. Princess Dr. Nisreen not only dedicated herself to serving mankind, but also is the first royal princess qualified in science and medicine. She's an internationally recognized scientist and scholar, a winner of awards in the fields of science, arts, literature, and humanitarian affairs. I would like to take this moment to present Her Royal Highness Princess Dr. Nisreen Al Hashemite to all of us who attended this summit and are here waiting eagerly to hear from her. Princess, your introductions, please.
A very good evening to you and to the colleagues and friends who are watching and listening. And thank you very much indeed, Ms. Daz, for the amazing introduction. It touched my heart, and thank you. And also, I would like to thank you and your colleagues for putting up such a platform and such an event.
Thank you, Princess. Knowing you're a princess, the first thing to our mind is your childhood, right? Your upbringing as a royalty. You lost your grandfather very young. Obviously, you were not born at that time, but the loss must have been felt in your family. And that would have created so much of a change for your own father and then subsequently in your life. What gave you the strength to make this, take on this difference and create this difference in the world?
Well, first of all, my grandfather passed away, King Faisal I bin Sharif Hussein, in 1933. My uncle was also passed away in 1939, and my cousin, the third king and the last king, my first cousin, King Faisal II, was killed in a massacre when the military coup happened in Iraq in 1958. So, in fact, I saw my grandfather in pictures in the history books, my uncle, the same as my cousin. So in fact, it is a bit difficult because, like, for example, the first time for me to say a grandfather or uncle or auntie or grandmother, I said it to the graves when I visited the Royal Cemetery first time in Baghdad in 2008. So imagine, like how difficult it is. Also for my father to over a sudden within one day that his family were killed in the military coup. It was very, very difficult, and we still live this difficulty. It is not easy to be also a royalty in exile because you have to serve your people, you have to serve the nation and humanity, and at the same time you need to be yourself. So in fact, there is one thing that people don't know: what does it mean to be direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad? To be direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad, this is what my mother and my father taught us, because both of my parents are Hashemite and direct descendants of the Prophet. So this is a mission from God to serve humanity. So it's not an honor to live on it, but rather it is a mission that we have to serve humanity. And we grew up on the history of who we are, our family, and also on the values of education, on the importance of education. For example, as a direct descendant of the Prophet, I have to learn that, first of all, the first word or the first message of God to the Prophet was read. So read and education. So this is about the importance of education. The second thing is that the word education and is the ilm, what we call ilm, is the most repetitive word in the Holy Quran. So in fact, this gives you the value about how much you have to be yourself, how much is education, science, all sciences. So, and also I'm so blessed that my parents are very well educated. My father was a professor of management, and he did a lot to establish education and developing education in Arab countries, and also the higher education system in Arabic Islamic countries and developing countries at the same time. And my mother is a professor of Islamic law. So in fact, I'm blessed to see that my home was full of intellectuals. The family is, itself is, both parents are intellectuals, and as well, I'm the youngest. I have 3 brothers who are older than me, and I'm the only girl. So imagine that my brothers, whatever they study, they used to come, and on board and teach me. Like, my brothers are my second teachers after my mother. Like, they taught me music, they taught me arts, they taught me engineering, they taught me mathematics and physics even before I went to school, to that extent. So yeah, education is very important. And also to see that my mother and my father dedicated their lives to serve humanity, and the amount of work they have done. This directed me towards education and at the same time towards humanity. Now, if we talk about my family, I'm not the only one who is educated. Like my elder brother, professor of chemistry, he was full professor of chemistry from University of London by the age of 30.
Wow.
So, and then the second brother, industrial engineer, and has a bachelor in banking and finance and his master's in international relations. The third brother is engineer, computer and electric engineer, 2 masters, and he's also a professor of information system analysis and all those things. So in fact, it's not only me who's well educated in the family, but I am in the front line because of the great support that they always gave me.
So obviously, education and science is inbred in the family history, culture, and it's something that every one of you did and have done well. But still, to fight against the norm and then to go and do medicine and then to go against the tradition of what royalty will do with medicine. You're the only you're called the science princess in the world, right? The doctor.
Yes.
How did you deal with that?
Well, I got something for you because of Kit Kat.
Because
one
of
for you, one for me. When I used to be young, a child, my doctor was very kind, and he used to give me Kit Kat. So I never felt, and he used to make me smile. So even if I was in pain, he used to give me a Kit Kat and make me smile. So I used to say to my mother, I'm gonna be a doctor, and I'm gonna draw a smile on people's faces all around. And I'm gonna be also a pilot, so I can reach everyone in pain and give them a Kit Kat and a smile. So that was my dream, and I kept pursuing my dream also. It wasn't easy, like for the world or for faculties to accept the HRH Princess because science is not for royalty. Medicine is not for royalty because there is no protocol, no royal protocol. That nobody will do things for you. You have to do everything by your hand. And are you going to be ready to do such things? So it was a big challenge, and I made it. I proved myself in science, in medicine. And one of the funny moments, for example, when I had a professor who his class used to be on a Monday, and in United States, the Sunday is the football games, which is the American football. And for me, football means soccer because I'm a big fan since I was a little girl of Liverpool. And my brothers, I grew up with boys because, like Liverpool, for goodness sake. And now I'm a big fan as well of Liverpool continuing and of Salah, etc. So anyway, so he used to, like come towards me and discuss American football, which I did not know anything about it. And he used to be angry from me and to give me those like comments that I am not good enough to be in this class, name it, So my brothers, they taught me what does it mean American football. So I learned the rules, I watched the games, and the following class, imagine to sit in the classroom and to discuss with the professor, oh, the Dolphins did not do good. They supposed to do 1, 2, 3, like etc. And he loved it, So I start to learn to speak the language, the people's language, whatever they like. And this is something like these are one of the challenges as well, like to get extra work because I'm a princess. Nobody will do your work. So like while other colleagues will have technicians to do autoclaving, I have to do the autoclaving. So in fact, I wrote once an article that I graduated with my last degree, the PhD. So if I couldn't find a job in medicine and science, I can be a photographer, I can be an electrician, I can be dishwasher, I can, like because of autoclaving and etc. And what else? Worst comes to worst, I learned to cook and I experimented on my brother. So I can be a cook. So yes, it is a big challenge, but we are here for, if we do not accept the challenge, then life is meaningful. I fulfilled my dream. I became a specialist in human genetics and infertility, and as well my research on cancer genetics. So, and I achieved a lot, published papers, books as well. I published the first book in Arabic about genetic malformation in children, its causes and the Islamic opinion. And that was in 95, and it helped a lot, to direct, like not only in public awareness in Arabic countries, but also it helped the Muslim communities to know more about the prevention programs, that genetics is not a shameful thing, a genetic disorder, but rather it's like any other disease. The probabilities, all of these things. I created public awareness campaigns and programs in many countries. And I also use the media for the public awareness. So I still remember when one of the challenges that it is a funny story, because also media will not accept you because you are a doctor and a princess and they don't know how to deal with you. So I usually use Pathan Nisreen bint Muhammad al-Hashimi. And then all of a sudden, the first reaction, oh, you are so young. At that time, I wasn't wearing glasses, actually. And I don't know why she thought I will be an old person, the interviewer. So anyway, then after that, she said, oh my God, like you are also a princess. How come? So I spoke a bit, and then she said to me, are you married? No. Will you a future husband from genetic disorders? It has nothing to do with, like we are talking. So, how come you can be a doctor and a princess? It doesn't click. Okay, so accept and move forward. If it doesn't click, it doesn't click. The biggest challenge for me was to be an employee, not for people to accept me as a doctor, earns a salary, and it is my right, and also the promotion is my right. So many people used to say, oh, you don't need the money. No, I need it because it is my right. So I work for my money. And it was like a privilege for my professors or the heads of the departments that they employing a princess. Who else has it, So it was like I always took any challenge in a laugh, in a joke, and to make them see that a princess can be a doctor, a princess can be an artist, a princess can be, at the end of the day, the title doesn't make people, we make titles. So, and titles do not add anything to the person, but we, with our personalities, achievements, what adds. So anyway, I made it, and I'm still, I have a job as well.
You mentioned art, because as royalty, even in India, as in some families, whatever we study, we're always taught in the arts. I'm sure as royalty, that is something that you were brought into, art and music. This must have been something that had been part of your culture and your upbringing and learning. Did you have time for fun and games considering protocol and medicine? Did you have anything in the arts and music?
Yes, well, actually, my brother, Prince Adnan, taught me music since I was 5 years old. Actually, as I said, my brothers, whatever they learn, they will teach it to Nisreen. So they want their sister, everything beautiful for their sister, anything amazing for their sister. So they wanted always, they want to give always their sister. So I learned the music, and I love music. Actually, it's not only me playing music, also my brothers, but also, it is part of our Arabic culture, music and arts. It's not, because we are royalties. Regarding, we love all kind of music, and we know what kind of music is this, etc. But for me, I appreciate different music, sometimes, when I'm a fan of Prince, for example, ABBA, Bee Gees, then you go to Phil Collins, Eric Clapton, and then you come back to Michael Jackson, and these are from the Western. In addition to the Arabic, I'm a big fan of the Arabic classical music. For internationally, I listen to music, some songs. With respect, like for example, from India, I like the male singers, you know, or songs sang by male singers, but I cannot take the female voice, you know. I don't know why, you know. So like, because I feel like for me, I need to feel the song, you know, because I don't speak the Hindi, or I don't speak the Urdu, for example, or Farsi, etc. So yes, art is very important. Dancing as well is very important, and it is always. My father used to say, you know, in the Royal Academy of Science International Trust, my father put arts, literature, and culture as a governing body within RASET, because he believed that the human being cannot live when sciences only or in arts only. There must be a conversation or the dialogue between the arts and literature, as well as with the science. And once we lost this dialogue and synergy between the arts and literature and the sciences, we start to feel problems rather than enjoying the benefits. We start to lose ourselves as a, you know, as a human. So yes, art is very important in my life. And I also, one of my brothers is a painter as well.
I see some paintings behind you. Is that some of your art?
Yes, these are coffee paintings. I only use the remaining of my Turkish coffee cup in that particular morning to create a painting. And my paintings has stories. I did not study arts, so whatever I feel in that day, either I am so happy reaching the seventh sky, or so down under the ground. So it has to be, something has to touch me. And each of my paintings has a story and a poem. I write poems, which is mainly like Sufi poems. That's why when I sign my paintings, I sign them with the the day, month, year, and the location, because it is connected to something. And yeah, I enjoy my paintings and my arts. Art is so beautiful. And well, it has been, people say I'm the only one or the first one who used coffee as the only medium, you know, to do paintings. And my art collection, I do exhibition. It is like we call it in Arabic, nadr, meaning that all proceedings from my arts goes to humanitarian work in education and health, or to whomever is in need. So the priority always for my people in Iraq, then to any human being. And I'm so grateful, you know, like when I do art exhibitions, I don't value my paintings with a price, because they are from the soul, from my heart. Each one came from my heart. So sometimes I will draw with my tears, sometimes with that smile on my face. So I always put minimum contribution. And you know, like I helped more than 50,000 children with their school bags, school materials, from like all stationaries to books to other things related to that they will need for 4 years. So imagine every one of them will have things that are, or for 6 years, depending on their, like academic years, or the education system, and also more than 150 major medical operations. And this is about my arts, and it is my personal collection. My mother, the one who told me to sell my paintings to serve my people in Iraq. And that day I will never forget when I said, everything for the people, everything for the people. These are mine. This is for me. This is the only thing for Nisreen. I live for the people. And she said to me, this is why your name is Sharifa Nisreen before you are the princess. Sharifa is the title for the direct descendant of the Prophet. So, so I start selling them in exhibitions, and
from the topic of art into you're the princess who walks the talk, and you gave up a career in medicine to take over your father's role in Rasit, and you have worked hard with several agencies of the UN, with women in science and technology. You've started different forums. Could you share a little bit about that journey, what you have done, the different programs you have led, and what it means for women and girls in science going now into the future? And if maybe you could touch a little about quickly moving into what other programs and platforms you've built for women and science.
Yes, well, first of all, I did not, just quickly, I did not take over my father's position. My father was the president and the founder of the Royal Academy of Science International Trust, and we have an executive board. So the person who was it is like a job. It is not, So I received an offer, because the executive director at that time, he got retirement, he retired, and I had to, at that time I was working at Harvard Medical, and I found that the whole world went into the Millennium Development Goals. Who decides what? Who decides what? When they put the Millennium Development Goals, education for all, ending poverty, equality, gender equality, women's health, like to stop the spread of infectious diseases. Why it is only for developing countries? What about the developed countries? Also, when you look at, when they talk about women's health, they mainly connect it to reproductive health or sexual health. And it's not even, reproductive health 100%, but much more like their understanding. Women's health is far beyond what they call it, or how they see it. It is about the sex differences in health and illness, also, which is the biological differences here we are talking about, and also about the gender differences. And gender, by definition, means social economic differences. So, in fact, you cannot talk about or ignore or neglect WHO reports saying that women are dying more than men in certain diseases, because actually most of the medications were tested on white males or on males only, neglecting, the differences between female and male bodies and biology. So this is, and also at the same time, it was the occupation, the Anglo-American war on my home country, Iraq, and, like too much wars, everything from September 11 to Iraq to Afghanistan, everything is war, and there was a need to think about, okay, who decides what? Is it the problem of policymakers, or it is our problem as professionals who are quiet, and we are so busy in our laboratories, in our offices, and we do not talk to policymakers? So I have to blame ourselves that we did not go to policymakers and starting doing or creating a change for humanity. So this is why I accepted the offer of Razet. And through the years, I worked on several programs from, like from popularization of science, when we started the Science Cafe program, and it became so famous worldwide now, and to another programs like Genes for Genes, when we, if you wear your genes, please, remember that to support genetic research, because I love wearing jeans and I work on jeans. So that's why we created the Genes for Genes International, and also to transfer technology. I also worked on intergenerational dialogue, which is started by my father, and I continued that more widely in different countries, which is about, we bring youth. The problem of the generations, we don't have dialogue between them. So for me, I bring the youth to speak with adults and to learn from experience of the adults, and as well to learn from what the youth are doing and what skills they have to empower them. This, in addition to so many other things related to different sustainable or different programs, my father always believed in sustainable development since 1968. And when he wrote that there is no development if it is not sustainable. So we are much more advanced even in our organization, or much more ahead than even the United Nations, because we have the Razet Sustainable Development Studies Center since 1982. Before I joined Razet, actually, I founded within Razet with a group of Women in Science International League, because I found that my salary, I only worked, by the way, in Britain and America as a doctor and scientist. I found that my salary is less than my male colleague's salary by almost 1/3, because he's a male and I am a female. And I was shocked to see that women in science were sitting like this, doing absolutely nothing, accepting everything without asking for their own rights. So we did a lot of work, for example, through the league, in collaboration with the United Nations agencies, etc., and the Islamic organization. Like 20 years ago, we organized the first Congress for Muslim women in science, and the outcome of it was adopted by the leaders of Islamic countries in their summit 4 months after the event, which you can see the difference now in their situation. In 2015, I am the founder of the World Women's Health and Development Forum. And at that time, we were talking about, before 2015, actually, it was founded, but the first event was in 2015 at the UN, and we brought the aspects for the post-2015 development agenda at that time, which is now known as the 2030 development agenda. So we brought to the world leaders and to the international community the aspects of women's health and development, starting with, if you talk about development, from economic development, economic empowerment, to education, to women in science, supporting scientific research, etc., to the women's health, from the war, the social life, to diet, to media, and as well into policies, etc. So we did a lot, and then in fulfillment of one of the points of the outcome declaration of the World Women's Health and Development Forum, I wrote to the President of General Assembly, requesting from him, through his authority, to to adopt, to issue a resolution proclaiming February 11, which was the day the declaration was adopted of the Women's Health Forum, as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And well, actually, we brought women experts. One of the senior officials in the closing of the World Women's Health and Development Forum said, this is the most important event happened in this institution other than politics, because we spoke about reality, we talked about the problems, we provided solutions, etc. So in fact, like most of the speakers were women experts in all fields. So we do exist as women in science. We are not, as international community used to report for more than 25 years, that women in science are less, or women in STEM are less than 30%. No, we are not less than 30%, but you don't see us. If we need equality, yes, we need equal pay, which nobody spoke that in developing countries like United States, United Kingdom, France, in Switzerland, etc., in Canada, women are not paid equally to men doing the same job. Then when you talk about, what about also, like women engineers in Eastern Europe or in Spain, the number of women engineers higher than other places. So we are not inferior. And what about, like us as a human being existing? So why do you not come to us as an experts? We are professionals. I'm a geneticist. If you want to talk about genetics, a human genetics, come and talk to me or to my colleagues. But don't come, say, oh, you women are less than men and you only live on the legacy of Marie Curie. So we had this resolution adopted in the General Assembly, and on 22nd December 2015 at 4 p.m. exactly, when the president of the 70th session of the General Assembly said, adopted. At that time I was just running up and down. I did not know what to do, because I still remember one of the officers of UN security said to me, thank you, Princess, thank you. As a father of 3 girls, I'm saying to you, thank you, because you are doing this for my girls and for every girl. And the journey started 5 years ago when nobody knew about women in science, and now the whole world recognizes women in science as experts. And I'm talking here science, whether it is social or applied sciences. They are professionals, experts, achievers, etc. And even governments start to employ women in science in diplomacy, as diplomats representing them in top positions, etc. Even companies. So this is what we need to inspire our girls as well, to give them role models. And through the years, we always discuss, there is a topic. And what I brought to the international community, a new tradition, that usually the theme of any international day is chosen by, the UN. But no, our day, the February 11 day theme, is chosen by women in science from around the world. So we send them emails to different organizations, different universities, and the select, and the highest one selected, then we go through that. We spoke about the role of media, and now you can see women in science on media, which it appeared a lot after COVID. You can also, and before COVID, you can see that women in science now, like everywhere, girls, look how many girls societies established. And we have girls in science, the first time ever that girls in science come and speak at the UN. They discuss, talk about education, science education, etc. And the most important, our partners in this world, the men, whether they are as fathers, mentors, teachers, brothers. They have a say in every event. And you know, like, we achieved a lot. You can Google before 2016 and now. Even like when the UNESCO is no longer saying women in STEM are less than 30, it is now women researchers in academia less than 30. So this is by itself. So we start to read actually the data and analyze. And we brought to the attention of member states that whatever is in India, you know, the situation in India is different than the situation in Iraq, in the United States, in Britain. So you cannot generalize everything. And also we brought the voices of women from developing countries, from Africa to Asia, to Latin America, to Eastern Europe, Central Europe, from Canada, everywhere. So it's no longer just certain voices speaking.
With this tremendous work done by Rasit in Women in Science and the February 11th Declaration on Adoption, what is the message you have for women and girls in science now, post-COVID? Do you think there is a change? And is there a message you would like to give women and girls all over the world about what they can do to make a difference? How can we make this now grow further and better? Is there something you'd like to tell us?
Well, first of all, thanks to COVID-19, the world started to look at women in science achievements, like whether they are heads of laboratories as experts, etc. My main message to the girls: do what you love. Do what you love. Science is about real development. If you want to talk about climate action, please don't be like a Greta, going into demonstration and shouting. No, go to your laboratory and find a solution. The plastic was founded in a laboratory and its solution is in the laboratory. You know, so this is very important for the girls to understand. Do what you love. Science, you know, like, there are so many fields in sciences where you can found yourself, where you can do business, diplomacy, politics, arts, media, journalism, laboratory, hospitals. There are a lot of things to do. And science is in every part of your life. Your makeup is science, chemistry. Your soap, shampoo is science. The sports you are playing, if it is snooker, billiard, cricket, football, etc., is science, physics. If you talk about car racing, if you talk about gymnastics, it's all based on science. So science in every part of your life. If you appreciate it, then you will know how to live happily without disturbing the planet and keeping it sustainable for generations to come. For the women, please don't feel inferior. And you are not superior, you are equal. Women and men are equal. There is nobody inferior and nobody is superior. For some women who are trying to say, like, to use that sign, you know, like, we can do it, you don't need to be masculine. You don't need to be masculine. Just be yourself and do what you have to do. You don't need to take the role of man. You know, a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's it. And for the others who are trying to teach their girls, I don't want to be a princess, I want to be a physicist or a chemist. Please, 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 your girls can be both. Here I am, a princess and a scientist, a princess and a doctor. What's wrong with that? So science doesn't take from any girl or woman her identity, but rather women, they have to show where to go. The last message is, for women, we need highly educated mothers to rebuild society, to bring society back, to bring the ethics into society. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. So that's my message. And for everyone, believe in science, because it is science that finds the solution. And for investors, please invest in science, because science is the the science-based solutions are the ones that we need in this SDGs or for sustainable development that can fit to every society.
Thank you. Princess, I'm going to invite my co-founders, Vishal, Naik, CEO of Meraklis, and Iftekhar, Pathan,
yes, of course,
to join us now on this call. We've had three great days of this summit. We'd like to hear from you on some closing remarks, and for Vishal, our CEO, and Iftekhar to also say some words. So Vishal and Iftekhar, if you could please join us.
Oh, by the way, this is from India.
Is that right?
It was made by my mother and my father were in India, you know, and the hand of Fatima. And it was my mother requested the jeweler to make it for me in there. So you see, you are, yeah, the hand and the drawing of the henna. Yeah, the drawing of the henna of the bride, you know. So my mother did it for me in India, and since I was 6 years old, it is always with me.
It's beautiful.
And also, I'm a big fan of Amitabh Bachchan. And if I will go to India, I will immediately go after where is Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan. You know, they are my favorites.
You have a favorite story about Amitabh Bachchan before my co-founders talk. Could you share that story, please, with our audience?
Oh, yes. I was walking in London going to an official meeting. And I saw Amitabh Bachchan stepping out of the car. And I said, oh my God, it's Amitabh Bachchan. You know, I was like a kid. And he gave me that beautiful smile and greeted me, chatted for a few, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And then I had to run to my meeting. And I couldn't believe it. So I was late for my meeting. And I said, Excellencies, I always see you. But to see Amitabh Bachchan happens once in a lifetime. So that's why I was late. Yeah, I always use a lot of his quotes as well. You know, and like in some speeches. And I'm also a fan of, and like Bollywood has so many amazing movies that should be taken, inspiring movies as well. But still, Amitabh Bachchan #1 and Shah Rukh Khan, let's say the master and the student.
Apprentice. So, Princess, you know this.
Hello, Mr. Vishal. Hello, Mr. Iftekhar.
Hello there, and good evening, Princess.
Good evening to you. Good evening to you.
You know this.
I would like first. Yes. Please.
Sorry, please, you first, Princess.
No, I was trying to say I would like to congratulate you on this amazing summit. I would like to congratulate you on its success and on the selection of the speakers, on the establishing of this platform. It is really amazing, and this platform, we really need it more than ever.
Thank you, Princess.
And well done, well done, well done. Very proud of you, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you, Princess. It's our honor to have you on board.
Thank you. And I will be working with you. If there is anything I can do, please don't hesitate that I will be beside you and with you hand in hand, because you are serving a humanity, whether through investment, and we need investment to bring new, to create jobs, to end poverty, because when we create jobs, we end poverty. We need also investment in businesses to move ahead, to bring new solutions. Also, we need to support the civil society, the non-governmental bodies as well, to keep doing amazing work on the ground and serving humanity. We also need some further support to bring to people to understand what's happening on the world. So also for you to include individuals, it's not only just corporates or businesses, etc., to include individuals. This is very important, because the power of an individual should be counted. And they are our voices as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Princess.
I think Vishal and
Durga, probably we'll start with you on this thing, then Iftekhar, and then I will.
Sorry?
One sec. Iftekhar, can you mute?
Sorry, we are maintaining social distance, so that's why we are in the same room, but apart.
What's the order you would like to take for the closing remarks?
Yeah, I want you to, lady first, I want you to start with this thing about the summit, what you felt, this thing, and then Iftekhar, and then me.
Sure. First of all, Princess, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. It's often time that we listen to people who have achieved many things in life. Very rarely do we get to hear from a royal princess who has also achieved great things in her life. And the humility and the affection with which you participate and share your life, your journey, and your experiences brings us so much closer to you. It makes us feel, like you said, every girl is going to be a princess and a doctor after listening to you. I sincerely thank you for that. And the summit itself has been fabulous. We've had it over 3 days. We've had over 50 odd speakers, over 1,500, 2,000 attendees. And we've had, the speakers have been exceptional by far. Several inspirational talks. The questions and the participation of the audience has been fabulous. We've had people from industry, from corporate, from CSR, NGOs, positive motivators, individuals who have created impact, all participate in this event. It has been accepted and celebrated over the last 3 days. We thank you for giving us the closing note. With that, I'll pass you on to Iftekhar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Durga. Very well said. So some of the points that I was to say have already been said. And I'd like to thank Princess for having given this time for the closing. It's an honor for us. And I quite like your disposition, and I like the fact that you speak so simply that all our audience can relate to you. And you being with us gives us a lot of strength to go out and do the good work that we've decided to do and follow in your steps. The other thing I'd like to thank all the partners that have been involved in the success of this first and the biggest online summit that we were able to do, and it wouldn't happen without the support of so many people. And my special thanks to Vishal, Naik, who's my co-founder and the CEO of Meraklis. A fabulous job, Vishal. It's really praiseworthy that with a very small team, what we have been able to achieve. And he's worked relentlessly in the last months, I must say, and has been able to reach to a fairly large audience. And all our ecosystem partners. Two other names I'd like to mention is Abhijit. Abhijit has been a great help, and Captain Anil Dhankar, who's also been a great help to us, and the whole team of Meraklis, and also Neeraj, who's we put our control room in the World Trade Center in Pune, very iconic place, and he's been of great help to us. So what we've learned is, like Durga said, we've had some exemplary speakers. When you see this, it's very heartening to know that our country, India, has some brilliant minds. And we at Meraklis, we are trying to sort of get all these brains together and make sure that the entire ecosystem talks to each other, there is knowledge exchange, and we are able to come up with positive outcomes. The silver lining to this cloud, which is the pandemic, we'd like to sort of get the people's power, like you said, the individual power to solve problems and set in a resilience that we all bounce back and keep doing the good work that we are doing. So it's and it's very heartening to know that so many people have joined in spite of being inundated every minute with so many webinars and so many Zoom calls. I was very, very impressed that everyone joined. The other thing is, like, it's a Meraklis promise that we will stand up with the NGOs. We will make sure that the corporates get the most curated deals with the sincere and kosher and legitimate NGOs that are working on ground. And we will also make sure that we will facilitate year on year. This was the first one, and year on year we want to facilitate interaction of people who are working in silos and learn from each other's knowledge and go ahead. So that's what I want to sort of say, and I want to thank everybody, and we want to give our listening ears to people. We want to learn from them. So all the NGOs, social entrepreneurs, and the participant, whoever came in, I request you and urge you to reach out to me, to Durga, to Vishal, and let us know your thoughts. We are ready to learn. We might have made some mistakes, and we apologize if there was any inconvenience caused to all you people. And I look forward to coming back to you next year with a much bigger summit. And thank you once again, Princess, for kindly consenting to be a part of this. Thank you very much on the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there is one thing I would like to say. You know, India has a great minds, a great civilization, thousands of years. I always get proud whenever I wear the sari, you know, in different occasions. I am Arab and I'm wearing the sari. I know how to wear the sari traditionally. And India is far beyond than just what people think. It is the civilization, it is the history, it is the achievements, what you have in India. Others, you know, still trying to do it. So I think your platform is, you know, like highlighting what you have. You know, we have a say in Arabic that when you have a precious stone, you keep it, you know, like this. And I believe that you have so many precious stones and diamonds and jewelry that actually all what you need is just to bring them to the world and let the people see what you have. And you have a lot. So many people can see that. But with your platform, I think this is a great opportunity for people to see what India can provide for the world, and particularly that India, through history, it is a peaceful country that it brought civilization, development, etc. to other countries through trade, through development. So what you are doing is amazing thing. And I think your platform is bridging the world. So you can call it from India to the world. I'm sorry, Vishal, I took your time, but actually I couldn't, you know, like, I think now your prime minister will give me immediately the citizenship after my love and passion to India.
Very well said, Princess. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is an honor always to be with you. And thank you, Iftekhar. And thank you for what you said. And as well, I liked very much when you said if you did not do something or there was something technically not correct or not happening, or you did not meet the ambition or the, you know, like the standard of some of your audience, you apologized from them, and you are, this is a really an important message from a leader. So thank you, Durga and Vishal and Iftekhar, for the great leadership.
Thank you, Princess.
So I'm going to give you now the floor, Vishal. Otherwise, you know, like you will not be happy. I will have a Kit Kat.
I'm not listening to you, Princess. I still remember the long conversation we had when we met last in Turkey. I think it's amazing, your humbleness and being a princess, but I think the way you treat people and the way you talk about social development, I think it's inspiring. It's inspired us. And I think one of the things we did, because like we are starting out, we actually made, there's a nice platform. This AirMid platform is done by a wonderful team. They've been new and them competing with the world's biggest. But we, like us, people has given us, all the people on in the audience, you, everyone, we wanted to give them this thing as well. And they've supported really late, 2:30, 3 a.m. in the night. So thank you to the AirMid team. Closing ceremony for us. And I would also like to thank you, IIT Kanpur, for coming in together, the first partner to come on board and help us push this cause together. Also our sponsors, the Clean Network, Hope for Children Foundation, Tirtha, Aeroniro. I think Durga is.
I would like to say in your behalf, on Iftekhar's behalf, and Vishal's behalf, as well as on behalf of all wonderful audience and participants and guests, I would like to thank also Durga Das for her amazing vision and her great support, and the way that she always look at things and her vision. She's a wonderful visionary lady and highly respected. So thank you, Durga, for everything. Thank you very much. And I think we need to consider this platform as well for our future work with whether with women in science, girls in science, as well as to bring together other work, like discussions with the issues related that we run in RASET, issues related to sustainable development goals and to the international community. So well done, proud of you.
Thanks to WTC for giving us this command center. So we were like 5 or 6 people. I think now I think it should be good. I was just connecting to a mobile network there. So thank you again. I was thanking our sponsors, Clean Network, Advait Joshi, Raghu sir, also Hope for Children Foundation, Kellen. I think you have been very, very supportive, not just sponsoring, taking a responsibility of sessions and coming on board, helping us get some amazing speakers. Also, all our sponsors who have come on board, Jessia, Your Story, Hope for Children Foundation, ADT, MIT University, and all those who supported us, all the speakers. I think we had fabulous speakers, both from India and internationally. I'm very, very happy. And I think we were initially a little hesitant because we thought we are a new entity and we're trying to do a lot. We thought maybe we'll start with like 30 speakers, but thanks to everyone's support, we started with 35, we reached 45. We actually were about 75 speakers today. So including some of the senior moderators, which is coming, which is good. And all the audience was joined in spite of some of the tech issues that we had. We were trying out a new platform to support some of the companies which is actually doing amazing work in that. So I think that was amazing. We got fantastic feedback from everyone. I've been getting calls from all over India. We had people from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Uganda, Philippines, Angola, Italy, US, everywhere actually. We had about 20 or 20 plus countries, people joining in. And a lot of people actually came and asked us can we sponsor some of the NGOs to come and look at that? So we actually said, you don't need to sponsor, we'll give you the ticket. We are so eager to join in. And so we are going to make this thing available to everyone. And from Meraklis perspective, this is just the beginning. We are not doing this as an one-time summit. This is an initiative. We are going to put in a digital community in place where we bring everyone, the networks who have come, the impact investors, the NGOs, the social entrepreneurs, everybody together, and senior leaders in the industry, India and abroad, and coming to there. Besides having our platform, which actually connects and help them raise funds, get resources, and also connect with citizens. So this is our goal. Our mantra is to scale social good, make sure we are impacting lives, delivering value by bringing collaboration and convergence using cutting edge or bleeding edge technology, which is what we want to do. And we are building an ecosystem platform. We are not here to compete with anyone. We want to work with existing players. We want to work with the people across boundaries and get this rolling. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Princess. I think it's been a lovely thing. We are going to share all the videos offline. We are going to publish a full report with everything, some of the best talks and what was the key takeaways, what are the outcome, and also the roadmap for the immediate 3 months. Instead of doing a 1 year we are going to start with a 3-month plan where we actually reach out and start connecting and take it from there.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who joined in today.